You might be familiar with the book Round the World in 80 Days. It's a classic from Jules Verne, where the character Phileas Fogg went around the world using the technology of that day. In the 1870s, they had railroads. They would take, I'm sure, some covered wagons and the transportation they had of that day. He took some air balloons, etc. Well, today, let me introduce you to a friend of mine who has gone around the world in not 80 days, but 2 days. He joins me now from his office in Santa Barbara, California, Dan Poynter. Dan, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Terry.
Now, I got to understand this. You went around the world, I mean, the whole thing, in 2 days. Is that right?
Well, Terry, I've made 21 trips around the world. Now, typically, I would fly into 9 countries, maybe 12 cities, do 17 speeches. But I woke up one day in December, and I thought to myself, how fast could I do it? And I spent some time online, and it took me a long time, more than 3 days, to find a set of connections with a minimum of ground time, because that counts against you too. And I came up with this using 3 different airlines, going to 5 different cities, 4 stops, and
wow,
did it in 2 days.
That's amazing. So 2 days, and how many hours total was it?
About 41 hours in the air and about 7 on the ground.
7 on the ground. So mainly you didn't do a whole lot of tourist stuff. You were mainly seeing the inside of airplanes. But to show what's going on, what was the reason for this? What did you want to show going 2 days around the world?
Well, of course, I wanted to point out bring some attention to my air travel handbook. But I had 3 basic reasons. And one was the speed of air travel. I think more people should think about air travel instead of driving to their vacation so they can spend more time being there and less time getting there. Also, I wanted to demonstrate the possibilities with round-the-world flights, because very few people know about round-the-world flights, and they can be a very, very good deal. And thirdly, I want to promote using public transportation. I know you're smiling now, but airplanes are public transportation. They are collective. They're public transport, as opposed to driving by yourself. And by the way, this was very, very green, because I was occupying a seat or a set of seats that would otherwise fly empty. So what did I add to the fuel load on the airplane? Well, about 170 pounds, my weight, and one tiny, tiny bag, because I didn't check bags.
I would imagine you wouldn't have a lot of check bags on a trip like that for only 2 days.
Well, I didn't even have to pack a toothbrush because the airplanes, they supply those.
Ah, that's very good. Very good. Well, now, a question that a lot of people have asked about this. Okay, you went around there. What about the jet lag thing? What was your experience with that this time?
That was very interesting, because I took off from Los Angeles on a Tuesday and landed on a Thursday, and I sprung off that airplane. I felt like I don't know, just gone into the other room for a moment. There was no jet lag whatsoever, which means that jet lag is not caused by crossing time zones, crossing the meridians. It's adjusting to a new place. So, for example, if you fly from California to Europe and it's a 9-hour difference, your body now has to adjust to that 9 hours, a different day, a different night, different meals, and so on. So it's the adjustment to the new time that causes the jet lag, not going past the time zones.
Excellent. Well, Dan, I know you picked up a lot of things on there. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to let you get away without telling us a little bit about your book. You've got a book there, Air Travel Handbook. Matter of fact, we see it over your shoulder there, subtly placed, and we can see it, but I'm not going to let you get away without telling us a little bit about that. What kind of benefits do you have? I mean, for real-world travelers, people who are in business, can really gain a lot from your book. Talk to us about that, please.
Well, this book is written by a passenger, which is very important. Now, I'm also a private pilot, so I understand what's going on up in front. I understand airframes, power plants, radio navigation, and so on. But this is written from the passenger's point of view. I fly more than 6,000 miles every week. I'm out of the country 40% of the year. I like flying, I love flying, and I do a lot of flying. So I've been collecting all kinds of information from my experiences and from other people like you. And that's what I put into this Air Travel Handbook, which is available both as a printed book and as an ebook from Amazon.
Very good. So we can get that. Well, what are some of the things that I'm going to learn when I buy your book?
Well, there are all kinds of things. I'm thinking right now of boarding early. A lot of people don't realize that there is a way to find out what your boarding order is going to be, and you want to be in a 1 group or a 2 group so that you can get access to overheads, because today so many people are carrying their luggage on rather than paying the extra fee for checking their bags. Very important to board early.
Yeah, that makes sense. And because you're flying regular, I know you're constantly traveling around there. There's a lot of good tips in there. So if someone is traveling, you're watching this video and you travel a lot, it's well worth it to go over there. And we're going to provide the links, information like that. Matter of fact, if somebody wants to get in touch with you and they need more information, Dan, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Well, the website is rtw2d.com.
RTWT. Oh, I see you got that. Well, I don't even have to make a graphic. There we go. RTW2D.com. You got that right there. And you can go in and get the information that way. It's marvelous. Thank you. We really appreciate that. So we can do that, and I think there's a lot of good information that you had there. And I think you made a very good point that I want to put an exclamation mark behind when you talk about the importance of using public transportation and flying. Some people say, oh, I don't know if I want to fly as much, and sometimes it is a hassle. Going through TSA with the groping that they're doing and all the pat down, the porno scans that they're doing and all of that makes it very rough. But from a safety point of view, if people say, no, we're going to drive, we know that more people are killed driving than they are in the air. The air, you've got competent professionals watching over what you're doing. And when you're out driving, you are much more subject to some crazy that's going to come sliding across the meridian and careen right into you. We see that happen all the time, unfortunately. And so I appreciate what you're saying, and you're making some very good points that flying is very safe, public transportation, and a great way to get a lot of adventure, too.
And it's a lot more fun if you know what's going on. You understand what's going on behind the scenes, you can enjoy it a lot more. By the way, I read just lately that more people are killed in 3 months in the United States in automobile accidents than in the history of aviation.
Wow. Yeah, that's something. Well, good reason to be in there and be able to stay on the airlines. We can do a lot more. And Dan, you've got an adventure there. We can find out more about it at your website. And so we'll go to that website. Be sure to see it, the rtw2d.com. Get a chance to see that. And, of course, pick up your book as well. Dan, thank you very much for joining us for this.
Thank you, Jerry.